Hello, all you lovely soul beings. Welcome to Burnt Violet Astrology and Tarot. Today's message is for all the empaths out there. This is going to be a tarot spread for you. So each card is going to touch a little bit on how to better use your empathic abilities. So the first card, which is Judgment, will be your current state. The second card, the Moon, will be what's affecting you. Third card is the Five of Swords, and that will be how to clear the energy. The fourth card is the Sun in reverse, and this will talk about how to protect yourself. The fifth card is the Ace of Swords, and that will touch on how to ground yourself. And the sixth card will, the sixth card is Death in reverse, and this will touch on how to raise your vibration. And then I did have a seventh card pop out, which is the Ace of Pentacles, and I'll touch on that as well. And I also drew some other cards that I will also explain and touch on at the end of the reading. So to start, in the first position, Judgment came out, and this is your current state. And so Judgment card is ruled by Scorpio and Pluto, so it's a very Plutonic energy, which is about transformation. And so you could be having an awakening or an epiphany right now. But you may not see it that way. It just might come across as turmoil. And to touch on what an empath is somebody who can feel and embody everybody else's emotions. So they can walk into a room and they can instantly pick up on how everyone is feeling, and it can be very overwhelming if you don't know what's going on. And most often an empath just feels very discombobulated and all over the place emotionally, and not realizing they're picking up on everybody else's emotions and taking them on as their own. So for this card, I get a strong sense that for those of you who might watch this video, you may just be learning about being an empath and what all that entails. And it can be very overwhelming if you do not understand what's going on. You think that it's just your emotions that are all over the place, but in reality, you're picking up on everybody else's emotions, their sadness, their fear, and whatever else. So your current state is awakening to this realization that having a breakthrough that these are not your emotions, these are not your feelings, and you can just feel like a big ball of anxiety, and realizing, I know when I realized I was an empath, it was like, whoa, it was a major breakthrough. So I feel like the current state, this could be a new beginning for you in realizing that, all this time, all these different emotions, these array of emotions that you had, were not necessarily all of your emotions. And so this could be a huge epiphany, a huge awakening for you. Um, and moving on. So crossing that energy, we have the moon, which is ruled by Cancer, and there's a lot of water in this chart. Yeah, Death and Judgment are both ruled by Scorpio, and the moon is ruled by Cancer. So we got a lot of emotion, a lot of water. It shows in here in this reading, and the moon can have its hidden parts, the dark side of the moon, hidden emotions, and that type of thing. And so this card is going to touch on what is affecting you. So it's fear, and it's the mystery behind all of this, and the disillusionment, and not really understanding what's going on in your own body, why you feel certain things. You know, what you may be feeling may not match how you think you feel, and that's because they're not your emotions. So how can you work with this energy? First of all, acknowledging that they're not your emotions. There's a saying for empaths, and I greatly relate and agree with this, and it's to observe and not absorb. First of all, knowing what's going on is the biggest obstacle. And so then you can discern, okay, are these my emotions? Or am I observing them in somebody else and taking them on? Because empaths are very in tune with everything around them. Um, so these situations are affecting you. So deciding, figuring out how to work with these aspects, and then um, knowing that these are actually, they feel like a hindrance, they feel like a burden, but really, I think all empaths have a greater purpose, and we need to be able to understand people in order to carry out that purpose. So, tuning into your abilities is a very big, will be a big revelation for you. And this will depend on each person. Each person has different abilities. Um, they're not all going to display the same within us. So, figuring that out could be key to working on what's affecting you. So, in the third position, how to clear the energy. The Five of Swords. So, you may feel defeated. Um, and also, you may feel weighed down by everybody else's egos, or maybe even your own. Um, energy, what needs to do is you need to connect to your heart, your true intentions, your feelings, your emotions, and you need, because you're so used to feeling everybody else's. So you need to really focus on your true intentions, your feelings, your emotions. This could also lead to feeling like you're being forced onto an uncomfortable path. It could feel like a very big burden. But um, oftentimes when we have abilities like this, until we figure out what our purpose is, it is going to feel like a burden. So getting in tune with you, and not doubting, because the moon is very intuitive. Um, Water signs in general are very intuitive, and there's a lot of water here indicating that whoever is watching this is an intuitive person. And along with intuition comes gut feelings, and it's important to not doubt those gut instincts, those gut feelings that you have. And really trust in yourself. And trusting in yourself will then lead way to realizing your abilities and trusting in those abilities. So, how to protect yourself? We have the sun here in reverse, and this speaks to me of feeling lonely. Like you feel like you can't trust in people. You're walking a very lonely road. But you gotta remember, everybody's path is different. And for us empaths, we tend to be introverts. And so we seek a lot of solitude. And we need to recharge a lot because we do take on others' emotions. We tend to get overexerted, and that can cause us to feel very drained. But I think the message here, uh, and how to protect yourself, is to know that you can still be a part of things, but with the right information, knowing, that acknowledging that you do have abilities to tap into people's emotions and feelings, knowing that you might need extra time to recharge. Just being aware of these things, I think, is a good way to protect yourself. You're honoring who you are, but you can still go and do things and be a part of things and put yourself out there and do the things you love. Um, but at the same time, know your boundaries, you know? So, and also, if you don't feel right around somebody's energy, um, don't discount that. Know that, if they're an energy sucker, then it's probably best not to be around this person. So with this card, I feel like it's talking about many ways to protect yourself. Knowing your boundaries, knowing yourself, um, honoring that and respecting that, and but still putting yourself out there and being a part of society, um, and know being smart about who you're around. Because again, I'll reiterate, if you don't feel comfortable around somebody, if you feel like they suck your energy from you, then you have the right to protect yourself and to not want to be around that energy. And I think a lot of empaths will put themselves in situations because they feel like they don't have a choice. When you do. You don't have to be around somebody negative or somebody who is infringing on your peace of mind. So for the fifth position, we have the Ace of Swords. And how do you ground yourself? So this will talk about how to ground yourself. So firstly, we have to acknowledge that we are who we are, and that for us, we have to take extra steps to really make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. So, in being honest with the fact that we need a little bit more self-care than some others might need. Um, Grounding is very important for empaths, and there are many different ways to do it. You just gotta figure out what works best for you. But the one thing I would recommend for all empaths is, well, for anybody honestly, but especially empaths, is putting your bare feet to the grass. Um, it's incredibly healing to do that, and it really centers you and brings you back to a very peaceful place. And it restores energy, vitality. Um, it's very, very helpful. And grounding is very important. And it's very beneficial for many reasons. And like I said, there are other ways of grounding, just taking time for yourself, doing the things that you love just for even 10 minutes a day, meditating, drawing, painting, listening to music, dancing, whatever brings you a sense of joy. That is what I consider grounding. It's bringing you back to your center. It's bringing you back to a peaceful and joyous place. And so that's very important for an empath to do. And so everything, the energy crowning this reading is death in reverse, which I find incredibly interesting because death in reverse is death is about transformation. Like I said, it's ruled by Pluto and Scorpio, but to crown this whole reading, I feel like it being in reverse is talking about how you are blocking this transformation. And maybe probably not even intentionally. I mean, with the right information, then you can move forward. Um, and this placement touches on how to raise your vibration. And we have to accept that there are going to be cycles of change, death and rebirth. this is what Pluto is about, death and rebirth. So there has to be death of the old in order to make way for the new. And a lot of times people can be very resistant of that, um, especially introverts and empaths, because comfort is, they find comfort in comfort. They find comfort in having things stay the same. But um, there has to be, without cycles, there can't be growth. So in order to raise your vibration, you have to understand that there has to be learning, periods of learning, and they they may not seem like periods of learning, they may seem like hardships, but in actuality, it's a cycle where you're learning something, so that you can grow as a person. Um, Allowing spiritual growth, looking for deeper meaning. Again, death and rebirth is very important. Um, so, so with it, like I said, with it being in reverse, you're kind of blocking the ability to learn these lessons and grow. And not putting yourself out there and staying in your comfort zone. So it's important to step a little out of your comfort zone and see what happens. Um, okay, so the extra card that fell out is the Ace of Pentacles, and I really feel like once you realize that that a lot of emotions you feel do not belong to you, when you can learn to observe and not absorb, when you can learn boundaries, um, and learn to take care of yourself, then the Ace of Pentacles is the end outcome, which is a beginning in stability. Things will become more stable. If you don't feel comfortable doing something, if you don't feel comfortable around somebody, you have the right to remove yourself. You have the right to say no. Um, Empaths get taken advantage of quite a lot. So you have the right to do anything that does not make you happy, comfortable, or that doesn't bring you joy. Um, I find a lot of times empaths have a hard time speaking their mind or their truth. And that can cause a lot of trouble down the line with health issues, because all that energy gets all jumbled up inside of your body. So I find a lot of times people have issues in their throat chakra from not being able to speak, say how they feel, what they want, what they desire, or for fear of somebody not liking them. They don't want it. They're the fear of feeling those person's emotions. But you gotta realize they're not your own. And you're responsible for your emotions. That person is responsible for their emotions. This is key to remember. And so I drew some extra cards in order to see what you needed to do as an empath to make this journey a bit easier. And again, we have grounding. Very, very important. I cannot emphasize this enough how important grounding is. You may even find that you uh, get healing effects from crystals or stones. Being in nature, definitely put your feet to the grass. It's pivotal, I promise you. Focus, channeling, and soul journey. So it's very important to focus on channeling energy the right way. To let go, pay attention to how you're feeling. If you know that's not how you're feeling, let it go. Um, it's important to channel your own emotions internally, and all the other ones just, they don't belong to you. Again, grounding, very, very important. So I will, very important. And so, soul journey. This is your soul's journey. Sometimes it might not make, it's not going to make sense. It takes time. So just know that, this is all hardship and sometimes even agonizing feeling. It's there's a purpose for it, and once you figure out that purpose, you will be in this vibration of energy. Um, I mean, it could be something very as simple as just being a caring person. You know, a lot of times people will unload onto you. Complete strangers will just unload. And we tend to take the weight of that. But really, just being a sympathetic ear for somebody and realizing, just, listening and sending them good vibes and then letting it go. It could be something as simple as that, but it's also profound for that person. So empaths have many, many, many abilities, but I can assure you that each one, even though it may vary, is very important and will contribute to the overall positive vibration of this planet. And so this is the end of the reading for all you empaths out there, and I hope that in some way you found this informative and helpful. And I wish you all the best on your journey. And please don't forget to like and subscribe. And I say thank you.